Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and to another Fortnite tips and tricks video. This one's all about the best strategies and drop spots that I've found in order to help you master landing at Redline Rig. So if you're going to be landing hot at this location, one of the best places to do this, I find, is right on the middle building, as the machinist boss spawns down bottom in the middle of this area. And this is also going to give you good elevation. There's usually a chest up top and a bunch of floor drops that you can also acquire. And if you go to the sides, you can go in through these vents and get down to some lower levels and also find even more loot, some more ammo crates, floor drops, and another chest. Now this drop worked out perfectly as I already have pretty good weapons, pretty good loot, some nitro fists, and somebody is now starting the fight with the boss down below, which is perfect, and I can just jump down to third party it. Now, whenever anybody is already fighting the boss, you always want to make sure that you go for the enemy players first before going for the boss's guards or the boss themselves, as they are just way more of a threat to you. And I'm not too sure what that guy was doing. But as you can see here, he's already did most of the work. Machinist's health is extremely low. I have to put a couple bullets in her and bam. Now I've got the medallion and I have got the mythic weapon, and now it is off to the races. And the nitro fish are so good because you can just easily get down from this high location. Now, when you're fighting this location, why I say it's always good to land up high is because then you can see what's going on in the desert around you. You can see where there are other enemies coming from. As you can see here, I can see that there are cars driving about, and I can see where all the other enemy players are fighting each other down below and get some easy beams on them from the high ground. And also being up here, I can just back up, and then I have perfect cover, and no one down bottom will be able to hit me. This gives me ample opportunity to reload my weapons without taking damage, and if anybody wants to try to push me up here, they're going to need to use shockwaves and the nitro fists, or use the zip line to get up, and I am going to hear it and know exactly where they're coming from and just get easy tags on them if they choose to use the zip line, which is great for me. Plus, since you're up high, enemies that are in cars are not really that much of a threat to you. Like this guy here in solo, he just tries to park, he's trying to use a turret to damage me, and I literally just aim at him. He's stationary in the passenger seat using his turret and fry him right through the windows. Now, this guy here must have been the Grey Houdini or something, or maybe my character was blocking the view, because I didn't even realize he got out of this car until he had already got into another one. So you can't always see everything that is going on from up here, but pretty good chance of doing so and seeing most of it. So now, when you are ready to fight the boss, once you've cleared out the POI and you think it's fairly safe to do so, you can usually find the boss in this little room here, which you never really got a good look of in the last few clips. But now sometimes, for whatever reason, you just can't seem to find the boss. Just look for one of the boss's guards running around and attack them. This should make the boss come out of wherever they're hiding about or whatever they're doing and come push you, which is exactly what happens here. Now, it's always better to attack the boss first before the minions, but sometimes you just don't have that option. So now, whenever you are fighting the machinist too, you want to watch out because she will use Nitro Splash on herself, so as you can get the effect from her if you're close enough to her when she does it. And be careful when she throws these turrets down because they can really fry your health very quickly. But as long as you just focus her with weapons of high fire rate, you should be able to take her out fairly easy. And again, if you have Nitro Fists or Shockwaves, or even Nitro Splash, you can just run and jump off the edge of this place from the high ground and get down to the lower level in order to get the mythic car very easily, instead of going down all the steps or taking zip lines, because zip lines just give away your position. And her assault rifle is very, very good, probably one of the best assault rifles we've ever had in the game, and her medallion will heal you up to 75 shield over time. Now when you go to get the car, always make sure you check above the cage it's in and around this area, because people do like to rat and just try to jump on you and then steal the car from you. And now when you're leaving, you can also always hit the cactuses in the desert on your way out to finish replenishing your shield up to 100. And now we're going to get into going over some of the better drop spots that you can use and things just around this area that can help you succeed in winning at this POI every single time. So now you're probably looking at where I'm marking on the map here, like, what the hell, this is all the way near Brawler's Battleground in Mount Olympus. How is this a good spot? Well, this spot here always has a couple chests, and it also has 2 slurp barrels that you can break open in order to get yourself 20 shield every single game, and it's not usually very contested because there's not really anything good around here anymore. Then you can use this jump pad, and then you can take it and fly right over to Redline Rig, and this way you're always going to have a little bit of shield and a couple chests worth of loot before you land here. Now this spot here on this little building is kind of attached to the Redline Rig. Another spot that I like to drop at if I'm dropping here hot as well. So I usually land here because you get a little bit of loot from this building. And if you take the zip line and jump off of it, you can jump on the ledge and get on this roof. And there's usually a few floor drops up here as well, and some ammo crates that you can also grab. And landing on this side of the building at the Redline Rig is also usually less contested than if you land in the middle or anywhere else around the area. Plus, again, you have good elevation in order to beat the fools who did not choose to land on the high ground. And you get a few free, easy eliminations that way. So you simply run across this catwalk, and now you're going to be able to go into that room in the middle where the machinist usually is. And in this case, yes, she's there. And, well, there's Nitro Fists. Always grab Nitro Fists over Shockwaves as they are infinite mobility every single time. And again, don't start the fight with her guards, start the fight with her. Now, if you start the fight in this middle room, you quickly take this zipline up to the very top. You can also get her to sometimes chase you up here, and then this gives you a pretty secluded fight with the boss, so you can just focus her, and any of the guards or any enemy players that come up, you're going to hear them coming up that zipline and know that they are coming for you, which makes this a really great way in order to fight this boss very quickly and take her out without really having too much risk from other players trying to third party you. And it's hard for them to get up here without giving their position away. Now, in this case here, I was going to search this epic chest here, but I see a lot of footprints all over the place, and I wasn't sure if they were real players or if they were just the boss's guards. Since I had Nitro Fist, I said, you know what, screw this, I'm just going to back out and get away from here. And now, remember, you can always come back later to get the car. Now, that spot I did show you to land at with the jump pad, you could also fly over to this Grand Canyon kind of rock. You might remember this if you watched my quick guide on the Redline Rig video. You can also make it here if you're a person who likes a little bit more loot. Then you can take this zip line down to the bottom. There's a slurp cactus just behind the rock there. Then you can run over and check out this buried house, which usually has a safe that you can loot and a couple chests. Then if you go across to this one lonely tree, you'll find 5 additional slurp barrels just sitting here in the desert. So that's going to be 70 shield guaranteed every game, plus that cactus, that's 100 shields. And strats and drop spots like that, I really cooked up on that one, didn't I? This is why you should subscribe to this channel, because I like to try to do things a little out of the box and not just do everything else that every single other person on YouTube advises you to do when they make these kinds of videos. So now onto our next drop spot here. This is the old train station that's kind of buried by sand. It's kind of near Peabody HQ. Now, I like to land at this spot here because I can guarantee myself shields because there's usually a vending machine that sells them. And now if you're playing like duos, trios, or squads, you can have some of your teammates land here and some of them land over at the Peabody gas station across the way to mod the cars so you're not all fighting each other for the same loot. Now, once you're finished looting this area, be sure that you also break the ceiling because otherwise I like to hide stuff inside the attics and the roofs, the buildings here. Simply just pop a nitro splash so you can run across the vast desert without getting beeped and home to Peabody HQ. Now, he sells nitro splashes, a purple pump shotgun, and also repair torches for your vehicles. Now, this spot here has a lot of vehicle mods, quite a few cars, a healing pad for the cars, and there's just tons and tons and tons of chests and loot all around these buildings, which you can make use of for you and your team. Also, again, they like to hide stuff in the roofs of these buildings, so be sure to check that. And if you watch all my other videos, you'll also know about the porta potty that you can use behind one of these buildings to bring you out to the more central area of the desert. Like, just have a look at my loot here. I already have a purple enforcer, a blue tactical AR, some nitro splashes, a purple pump, and I'm full shields with a Nuka-Cola. Yeah, this is a pretty damn good spot to get your loot up fairly quickly. And there's so many different weapon mod boxes around this area for your car that it's very easy to get your car modded very quickly. Once your car is modded, just simply go over to this Nitro Rig, fly right through it, and now you're off to fight the boss and a third party Redline Rig. Now on to the next spot here. So this is an unnamed location that just kind of looks like it's in the middle of the desert and it's just nothing. There's kind of like this missile or like a submarine or something that's just been crashed down into the dirt, And now there's a few slurp cactus around the area, another one of those Frieza spaceships. So, and nobody ever really lands here for whatever reason. But there's a chest on top of this missile that you can acquire, and if you go over and break that Frieza spaceship, for whatever reason, this one always has tons and tons and tons of ammo crates inside of it. Not too sure why, but it just does. Like, go have a look at this once I finally go over and break it. You can just look at how much ammo I get from this. It's crazy. And I've never actually brought into a real player here, just the game's AI bots that land here. So that is another good thing about this little spot. And now, there is a bunch of those bushes that have loot in them, whether you go towards Redline Rig or if you head over towards Brutal Beachhead. You find those and get a little bit of extra loot. Now this spot isn't really the greatest, but at the same time you get full shields, good ammo, good loot, not be contested very much, and it's a great spot to know about in case your drop is contested, so you can fall back and flee over here to at least give yourself a fighting chance instead of getting sent back to the lobby. Now, there's not really too much more to say about this location, but if you haven't watched my other videos on the other boss POIs about this season, you should definitely go check those out on my channel. I will link them in the description down below. And I don't want to repeat the same drop spots in every video because a lot of those drop spots are also viable for Redline Rig or any of the other boss POIs in the desert this season. So now let's get on to the next spot. And this one I'm sure a lot of people already know about, but I'm just going to call it the Lonely Little Oasis. It's pretty easy to see where it is on the map as it's just a big blue circle. Now, this oasis is full of that blue water that will heal you shield and health over time very slowly, about 1 tick a second. And there's a few overturned boats sitting in the area. I think there's 3 of them. So if you're playing builds, you get a bit of metal here. There's tons of wooden trees and rocks that you can farm for mats. A few floor drops around the outskirts of the oasis itself. If you are contested when landing here, it's very hard for the enemy player to also cut you off and prevent you from getting any of the loot, which is another added bonus. The only things you really have to worry about is the Dirty Dock POI behind you, as enemy players may be coming from there, or people fleeing from the Redline Rig to try to heal up if they got into a sticky situation. And if you don't mind taking a little bit of time to heal up in the pool, you can save any of the heals that you acquire here for later on in the game. And now let's move on to the last and final drop spot that I'm going to show you in this video. Now, a lot of people probably already know this one. It is none other than Dirty Docks. And now this location, the only real problem with it is it's at the very outskirts of the map, so you may have to end up running from Storm a lot if you're not quick in looting it. But the spot really does have a whole lot going for it. Now, there's an abundance of chests here, but they are all spread out all over the place, hidden inside of shipping containers, and hidden inside a couple of the buildings more to the front of the POI. But down on the docks, there is a slurp truck, which guarantees you full shields every single game. There's also tons of ammo crates all over the place, and also a very abundant amount of slurp barrels hidden all over the location. Now, there's also a boat down near the docks that has a jump pad which you can use to rotate, and there's an NPC that you can hire. I'm pretty sure it's the heavy specialist NPC that throws the grenades, who also will sell you a purple boom bolt for 300 gold if you're interested. Now, like I said before, one of the only problems with this place is it does take a little bit of time to loot, and you may have to run from the storm more often than not when you land here, as it's at the edge of the map, depending on where the zone pulls from. But the abundance of loot makes up for it. There's probably enough loot for at least 2 full squads here, and there's also a reboot van in case you need to reboot your teammates. Even if you don't want to go to a boss POI to fight for a medallion, this is still one of the most strongest drop spots in the game, just because of all of the chests that you get to loot and the guaranteed full shields. But that will be it for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Big Papa Smurf 187. Please leave a like on the video if this video helped you out. Drop a comment down below if you have any tips and tricks that you would like to share, or just let me know what you thought of this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, as I do post Fortnite tips and tricks video fairly consistently, and I'll hopefully catch you on the next one. And one last thing, don't forget to go get yourself that victory royale, and have fun gaming. Bye for now.